This is Mastering Cybersecurity Through Education, Training, and Awareness. This is presented by Tomorrow's Leaders Today, Fall 2023 Cybersecurity Interns. The first topic we'll be talking about today is phishing. These are requests for sensitive information through email or text. Here are some signs of phishing. Unsolicited requests for sensitive information. Misspelled URLs and links that are sent to you. Or emails from email addresses that mimic legitimate ones with slight variations. Here's how to avoid phishing. Always double check the sender's email address of an email that is sent to you. Hover over any links to see the actual URL before clicking. Never provide personal information in response to an unsolicited request. And install and maintain up-to-date antivirus software, firewalls, email filters, and anti-phishing toolbars. The next topic we'll be talking about is malware, which are programs or files designed to harm or exploit computer systems. Here's how to protect against malware. Be informed about the importance of not clicking on suspicious links or downloading from untrustworthy sources. And always keep your software and antivirus programs up to date. Social engineering, which is psychological manipulation of people into divulging confidential information. Here are some common social engineering techniques. First one is pretexting, which is fabricating scenarios to obtain information from somebody. Baiting, which is offering something enticing to breach security protocols. And phishing, which was covered earlier. Avoiding social engineering. We can avoid social engineering by implementing training programs that teach employees about the different types of social engineering attacks. And we can also encourage keeping a skeptical and cautious mindset when dealing with unsolicited requests for sensitive information or just when using the internet in general. Our next topic is weak passwords. Weak passwords can lead to unauthorized access to personal and company accounts, data breaches, and identity thefts. Weak password protection. We can protect from weak passwords by educating users on creating strong passwords that include a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols, and have a higher minimum length of characters. We can promote the use of password managers that create unique passwords for your accounts on your system. And we can also train users to enable multi-factor authentication whenever it is available.
So the first topic that I will be talking about is data protection. So it's basically the importance of keeping your data private and protecting your information from possible data breaches. So first of all, what is data breaching? A data breach occurs when a person or group gains unauthorized access to data. And this can be obtained through malware attacks, phishing, and other measures. This data can be private and sensitive, so it's incredibly important that we do something to ensure that this data is not leaked to other places. So let's talk a little bit about why protecting data in itself is super important. So data breaches can lead to many problems, and here are a few that I picked out because I thought they were quite important. So first of all, HIPAA violations. A lot of information that nonprofits and organizations and even companies hold is confidential information. Information about employees and just the company, the budget can all be leaked. And a lot of this is very confidential. So that's not things that you want to be able to make public information. If personal information is leaked, this can lead to identity theft for a lot of people. And we want to make sure that information such as like bank account information, SSNs, personal information that people could really take bad advantage of, is kept private. And lastly, the corruption of databases is a pretty big problem that a data breach can lead to. So, a lot of companies and organizations have a lot of information about their organizations in itself, and corruption of those databases can lead to a loss of a lot of information that companies have been holding on to for a while that they need for maybe marketing or just to keep track of their own progress. So, the next topic is risk mitigation, and that basically means like what are some ways we can reduce the threat of a cyber attack? So, here are some ways to mitigate risks. First, it's just requiring logins and strong passwords to access information. And some ways to do this is to enforce strong passwords, making sure that every user that logs into the account has at least a special character, numbers, a capital letter, something like that. And in addition, utilizing multi-factor authentication is incredibly important so that we can at least validate users and make sure that there are no bots coming in. And then, and adding on to that about bots is integrating tools such as reCAPTCHA. So that will basically allow us to check for bot traffic and make sure that users are validated whenever they log into an account. And also just making sure that access control is only for people that have, or that data is only given to people that need access to it. Not everyone needs the personal information of every other employee that works in the organization. That's probably something only certain people in HR need. And yeah. The next topic is incident response. So how should somebody respond to a cyber attack? And the first most important thing is to have a business continuity plan. So, some examples of something that might be a part of a business continuity plan is how somebody might conduct a risk assessment. So, who are the people that need to do this and how are they going to do it? And then, in the case of a cyber attack, you need to identify the points of impact. And then also making sure that every single organization or team has a trained professional at hand to fix whatever attack is happening. And then also, it's incredibly important that they have a data recovery system because in the case that somebody steals data or information, you need to make sure you have something to fall back on. And then also having alternative working arrangements. In the case of cyber attack actually compromises the system that y'all are working on, then you want to make sure that you are not losing any work from people and that you can still go on and have the impact that you want to have, even though there's maybe a cyber attack happening. And just kind of expanding on what I talked about in the last slide, data backup. So it's incredibly important that you're able to recover information. So this ensures that you can continue business on as usual, even though there's something happening. And then this ensures that you still have access to all of the information that you had originally. And this reduces the risk of ransom attacks because in a ransom attack, it's essentially a person or a group of people stealing data and then asking for money in exchange for control of that data again. But if you already have access to that data, then it reduces the risk of a ransom attack because they would have nothing to, give ransom for. And then just ensuring that there are encryption methods for any sensitive information, and then having a backup tool like Google Drive, pCloud, or Dropbox to fall back on and actually have all of your information stored in that system. They also have a lot of user account access, which is really good for privacy. And then CrashPlan is a great tool as well for small businesses. Okay, last is compliance. Compliance training is really great. It's basically what we're doing right now. It's training that covers data privacy. And it's really important that everyone goes through this, whether or not you're in the cybersecurity team or not, because it's really important because phishing can happen to anyone. And we want to ensure that it doesn't happen to the entire organization. So in this training, you would basically go over methods to keep all of your information safe. And it's basically the company explaining what they do to keep their data safe within like TLT, for example. So you would just basically learn about what security tools that they're using, what is or is not on limits. And then it also shares what information users have access to versus what the employees have access to, because you don't want users trying to access information that they do not have access to. And then this should occur with the onboarding process because the second you get an email account with someone or you have an account with an organization, you should know that you're susceptible to many cyber attacks, and you want to ensure that everyone's on day one and onwards has the power to make sure that they will not be susceptible to these things. And there are a lot of benefits to compliance training. So there's a lot of reduced risk of cyber threat due to user accidents or misinformation. But doing compliance training can reduce that risk. So just a couple facts to like back this up. Companies with compliance training programs require much less time to identify those risks and detect users or detect issues because users are able to say that, oh, this email looks suspicious. Let me make sure that HR knows about this and we can do something about it and make sure that nobody else has to deal with a phishing attack, for example. And then more than 60% of companies say that ensuring compliance training cuts legal and technical costs because they don't have to deal with the aftermath of a cyber attack. It also just creates a transparent working environment, which is really great because I think that's a very good ethical consideration to have in the work environment. And that is it. Thank you so much for listening.